today we're going to paint our lucky sign. The first step is you want to lay out all your pieces. It fits together like a puzzle, so you want to make sure you're painting the right sides of each rainbow. So I pretty much laid mine out. So I laid mine out, and the first step we're going to do is we're going to paint our rainbow and our lucky. So I am going to slide those pieces off, and you just want to slide them to make sure you're painting all the right sides. All right, so we are going to paint our rainbow. So I gave you guys the primary colors, so you have red, yellow, blue, and we're going to make all the colors off of this. So you're just going to take your bigger brush, and the first thing I'm going to do, my first color, the biggest part of the rainbow, is going to be red. So I'm just going to paint it red. And you're going to have to probably use 2 coats. So I'm going to put 1 coat on everything, and then I'm going to come back and put a second coat. So you could either make them like brighter colors, or if you want, you could add a little white as you paint to make a little creamier, a little pastel rainbow. So I'm going to do all my primaries first. So I have red, then I'm going to wash my brush. Make sure you wash it really well. And I'm going to move on to my yellow. Whenever I paint with yellow, I'm definitely going to put a little white on your brush as well, because yellow doesn't cover like a canvas or wood very well. So got 1 coat on that. I need to put them all aside. And you might want to do your edges. You don't have to, so you won't see them much, but I know some people like to do their edges. Then I'm going to do blue. With the blue, I'm going to add a little white as well. I want it to be like a little lighter. All right, so I'm going to put that aside. So once you have your blue finished, you can wash it out. And let's start making some colors. The first color we're going to make, we'll make some orange first. So on a plate or anything on a cap, I'm going to take some yellow. I'm going to add a teeny bit of white to that. And then I'm going to wash my brush again, and I'm going to slowly add red until I get the orange that I want. I think that's a pretty good orange. So once you have that orange, take your rainbow, paint the rainbow. Next, what I'm going to do, wash my brush. We'll make some green. So I'm going to start with yellow, put a little bit of white into it, and then slowly add some blue. I'm only probably going to add 1 little thing until you get a nice green. That looks good to me. I'm just going to paint my green. And then just make sure you're making enough colors so you can put a second coat on. Next, what we'll do is we'll make a little purple. So I'm going to take some white, add some red to that, and then slowly add little bits of blue until you get a nice purple indigo color. All right, so I have my first coat on everything, And now I'm pretty much going to go back and put a second coat on everything. I'll start with red, yellow, blue, and then go orange, green, purple. So all my parts of my rainbow are drying up there. And what I am going to do next is I'm going to paint my lucky. Now you could paint it any color. You could do gray, black, any color that you'd like. I am going to do a little dark green. So I'm going to put some yellow and I'm going to mix blue into it. And I want this darker to be like the green that I used on my rainbow. So I'm going to keep on adding blue to it. And I'm also going to add a teeny bit of black. And it should get like an army green almost. I just want a different shade of green. Put another smidgen of black. Alright, so once you have the green that you like, or whatever color you like, you can paint your lucky. So just take your time. You could use your big and your small brush. I'm going to use my big brush, put 2 coats, and then I'll take my small brush and I'll kind of pick all the paint out of all those little crevices when I'm finished with my 2 coats. gonna leave my parts aside to dry, and while those are drying, I'm going to paint my wood round. The pieces are dry and I'm just kind of laying them out on the board. So the first thing I like to do, I'm going to take everything off at this point. So I like to start by putting my lucky down first. And I know the angles of the words and the L will change a little as I put my rainbow together. So I'm going to put my work on my red first. That's my biggest one. And once I put the red, I'm going to kind of center the red and the lucky. So all the pieces fit together like a puzzle almost. But there's a little white between all the parts. So I'm putting my red, I'll get my orange next. So there'll be like a little white between all the little rings. Yellow. As I work, I'll just adjust. Green. Now is also the time you'll figure out if you didn't paint the right side of something. All right, so once I put everything down, I'm gonna like tweak it a little, make sure it looks centered and everything. Okay, so I like how this looks. Once I like how that looks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some glue. I'm just using a regular school glue, but I actually would prefer if you use like an Elmer's or a wood glue. Tacky glue works great. So I'm putting a little glue in a little, you can put it right on the table. I put it in a little cup. And how I'm going to apply the glue is with a paintbrush. That'll just give me a nice, so I don't use too much glue. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lucky. I'll take one piece at a time. So I have my L. Going to put that down. Then I'll do my ucky. And a little glue goes a long way. You don't want it to be like all bubbly. Put down my lucky, make sure everything looks good still. Got good angles, okay. So then I'm gonna go from the purple out. So I'll start with my littlest piece. Put a little glue. Put it down. Just do one piece at a time. If it moves a little, that's okay, because at the end we're gonna all adjust everything. I wouldn't use hot glue if that's what you're trying to glue it down with, because usually by the time you get it down, some of the pieces are already hot, cold. And last but not least, alright, so once you get all your pieces down, you have a couple of minutes, you can kind of tweak some things if you need, but that looks pretty good to me. So I'm gonna let this dry. Once it dries, then you could hammer that bracket into the back of the round. So then you could hang it up wherever you'd like. So I hope you guys had a great time and have a great St. Patrick's Day.